Welcome to My Business Matters, the Michigan Chamber podcast.
Hello, I'm Jim Holcomb, President and CEO of the Michigan Chamber, and today's podcast host. As we wrap up November and Veterans Month, I think it's important to take time to reflect and honor the service of Michigan veterans, as well as highlight the inherent skills and abilities that they all bring to our workforce and the ways that our business community can be more veteran-friendly to employers. Joining us today is the newly appointed director of the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, Brian Love. Brian is a Marine Corps veteran who began his new role at the agency on October 31st. Brian, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
I think, just to start, Brian, can you give us all we know you're a veteran. Can you give us a little bit of background on you and then how you came to your role in the agency?
Sure. So, I'm born and raised in Detroit, Marine Corps veteran, come from a long line of Marines. Marines have been serving in my family at one point or another since African Americans were allowed to join the Marine Corps back in World War II. Awesome. So very, very proud of our family legacy. I actually just left a Veterans Resource Fair here in Wayne County, where I'm at right now. It was a great event, and actually 3 of my relatives all were actually there participating.
That's veterans. Tremendous. Can you give us, what's the mission of the MVAA?
So the mission of the MVAA is we are your state resource for connecting veterans with state resources that we have to offer within the state of Michigan. And we also work in collaboration with our federal partners over at the VA. We get a lot of calls in our resource center with our veteran service officers, who we call VSOs. We get a lot of federal questions about the VA. I can attest to that because although I've only been on the job just over 2 weeks, every time I speak in front of a group of veterans, whether it's 3 or 300, I'm going to get questions about the VA. So we partner with them. When we get those calls, we don't just dismiss them. We actually literally hand off person to person from our agency over to a VSO over at the VA.
Oh, that's good that you have that good coordination because, I think we'll talk about here a little bit. Sometimes it's just for veterans to know what's available and just being able to have the different agencies coordinate, whether it's state or federal agencies working. Can you give us a little bit of, a snapshot? What's the size of our veteran population in Michigan and how do we compare to other states?
Great question. So we have just over 530,000 veterans in the state of Michigan. We are the 12th largest veteran population in the nation, which actually is more like 53 states. So that's all 50 states, Virgin Islands, D.C., and Puerto Rico. And so that's a very large, particularly we have a large group, particularly in a state that does not have standing active duty bases.
Now, I know you've just been on the job as director for a couple weeks, but do you know, is that a pretty consistent number? Is that something that's really grown over time? Is that people coming back home to Michigan who are originally from Michigan who took time to serve?
Yeah, so from the numbers that we've looked at, our veteran population has actually decreased from, I'd say, over 2 years ago, last I checked. And so it shows that the number has gone down some, but, 500,000 is nothing to sneeze at in the big scheme of things in the state.
No, that's a tremendous amount of people who really gave service to our country. And it's wonderful to have them here. And some of my concern is what we're talking about today. The population, if it's decreased a little bit, that's also decreased the state as a whole. And we need to make sure that we're a welcoming state for everybody and making sure that we have the opportunities that are there. Now, we know veterans, when you're in service, men and women who are serving in any of the branches, they get a real diverse set and unique set of skill sets. What are some of those that you think really translate when they come to the private sector?
So for me, I'm an old school Marine Corps infantryman, and I never thought I would refer to myself as old school. So I'm probably aging myself, Jim. But it really comes down just at the basic level. You come back, and it's not just Marine Corps, it's all of the branches. If you raise your hand in service to this nation, I always tell people the NVA is here to service you. And so one of the things that you pick up as a veteran in service is I would say, you discipline, hard work, strong work ethic, determination, Military tends to show people themselves truly who they are, and then it helps reinforce who that person is that they discovered, and then they become literally a new person. And that's for all of the branches. I'm just a little more partial to the Marines.
Yeah, I can understand why. But, it just struck me, the words you're saying, discipline, hard work, determination. What employer doesn't look at that and say, these are exactly the people I want applying for jobs. These are the people that I want to help build the culture of my organization to make sure that whatever product or service that you're delivering to the community, it's being done with people who, have a shared value set.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you ran into my high school teachers who saw me when I came back from boot camp, I literally walked down the hall in my Class A uniform, and they literally did not recognize me. They said, "What happened to the kid in the jeans with the holes in them and the all white gym shoes and all of that?" You come back. I mean, the service to your nation is not just an honor; it's a privilege, and it does something to you inside. I don't care, what race you are, what gender you are. The service definitely builds character. Yeah. And it definitely has done that for me and a number of folks I know within my family and without.
Yeah, I have the same impression of people in my family who I know have served. And like you said, people who serve may feel it's an honor, but all of us, it's a privilege that we have people who are willing to go out there and do that and sacrifice and protect us. And as I listen to you talk, it really does strike me how many young people probably benefit in their maturation process from service, because it does build the discipline and teaches hard work and determination, and it's just going to serve them so well in so many facets of their life.
Oh, definitely. I can tell you, if you look at all of the leaders across our nation, I mean, public office, private, nonprofit, church, civil rights, law enforcement, just the entire gambit. You will see that a number of those leaders, those high-performing leaders, those leaders that you look at and say, wow, that's a great American. Yeah. A lot of the times, they're probably going to be a veteran from somebody's military branch within the United States of America.
Yeah, but that whole list you just put out there, the leaders are always usually service before self and to a higher calling than just their own personal gain, and that they're just continuing out. They've developed into these great individuals, and they're giving back to communities in so many different ways.
Yes, sir.
What are the benefits and services that most veterans or the military families that are eligible for, but maybe they don't know about, that we need to help make sure that they do understand that are available to them?
Oh, yeah. So here at the NVAA, we have a number of initiatives. And so one of the things we have is the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund, which has distributed a number of dollars in emergency aid to 650,000 eligible veterans or their dependents throughout its long history. Michigan Veterans Trust Fund is part of the NVAA and has been around for 77 years. And so the Veterans Trust Fund focuses on, when applied by veterans, the Veterans Trust Fund meets the emergent needs of a particular veteran. If their power is about to be shut off, a roof collapse and needs repair, something to that nature. There's a process that you have to go through, but the folks at the trust fund who fall under NVA are truly dedicated to really processing and getting veterans their assistance. I can tell you, not just the trust fund, but also all of our team at the NVAA, either they are veterans themselves and are passionate about supporting their fellow veterans, or they are just passionate about serving veterans because they have a loved one who's dear to them who served, and they appreciate their service.
Yeah, what a great motivating factor to make sure we're serving those who are serving us, around the world. The services you're talking about, how is there something that people who are listening to this, maybe you're an employee or somebody in the business community, how can we help ensure that employees who work for, say, Michigan Chamber member companies know where to go for information and how to make sure that we're doing whatever little bit we can to support them, just making sure that they know the services available to them?
Yep. Okay. So just real quick, let me run off some of the other things we're focused on. We're focused on veteran homelessness and working to assist veterans and their families who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness. We also have a legislative program that provides Vietnam War veterans with a recognition certificate for their service in the war. Because as you know, a number of Vietnam veterans weren't celebrated when they returned home from conflict. like the rest of our veterans when they came back from other conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
We have the governor, who is Governor Whitmer, who is very engaged in veteran substance abuse prevention and suicide prevention, as wholeheartedly supports our efforts in working to protect our veterans. Because evidence shows that the more a veteran is connected to a social network and they earn benefits and resources, the less likely they are to engage in self-harming behaviors or suicide thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that's just most disconcerting and troubling to many of us, is when you hear the statistics about people who have self-harming behaviors and suicide, people who are just really need all of us to find the ways to get them the resources they need, because they've given so much to all of us. We need to make sure we're helping protect them in their time of need.
Yes, sir. And, Jim, mental health is a major focus of ours as well. And particularly, again, the Governor Whitmer definitely, as you know, is focused mental health support across the state,
mm-hmm.
which also includes veterans. And so for NVAA, our focus on suicide prevention includes creating a new mental health services division here at the NVAA. This division will include a new manager and mental health analysts and technicians who will work directly with distressed veterans, as well as with veteran advocates and support groups that are working to combat veteran suicide. As you know, veterans, it is said that veterans are anywhere up to 50% more likely than regular civilians in committing suicide, or at least attempting to commit suicide.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We appreciate Governor Whitmer and all the policymakers who are trying to help do this. I think one of the positives I've seen, at least in the last 5 years especially, is just a recognition that mental health is a real situation we all need to deal with, regardless of where you are in life. There are a lot of people that have challenges, and unfortunately our men and women who have had service in their background are kind of more at risk for some of this. So I think that's tremendous that we're having a focus on that, because that seems to be a place we can have a real impact.
Yeah, and we also partner with the DMVA, the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, that my agency falls under. We work closely with TAG, the Adjutant General of Michigan, Major General Rogers, and his staff, and working with them. We're like one team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we support active military as well as veterans together.
Oh, that's great. As we think a little bit more about some of the employment side and things that veterans deal with coming back, and I know there's so many Michigan and national companies really recognize the talents of these individuals who have had service, and we've talked about the traits that they've developed and the skill sets they have. But I know there's also formal recognition for being a veteran-friendly employer. And, we have situations or programs like Hiring Our Heroes, I believe, started back in 2011. Can you speak a little bit about what those programs mean and how they can help veterans?
Sure, Jim. So first, I'd like to recognize Dow Chemical. They are this year's NVAA Gold Award recipient for being the most veteran-friendly company in the state of Michigan. And then there are many other Silver Star Award members, and for all you Silver Star companies out there, you are at the crux of being gold members for next year. So I'm really turning up the heat on the competition to go ahead and everyone try to shoot for the gold for next year.
Oh, that's great. Exactly. Give them the motivation they need out there. Are we finding that some of these programs are taking root and they're making a difference, and we're making sure we're connecting our men and women with service in their background to good jobs and good careers?
Yes, we are. Through the veteran-friendly company program, we see that. But also, just recently, a new state initiative passed that opens up thousands of jobs for veterans. The state of Michigan is waiving its requirement of bachelor's degree for many state jobs if the veteran completed at least 2 years of active federal service at the rank of E6 or above. No other state in the union does that.
Oh, that's great to be the leader in something like that, and hopefully other states will follow suit and really give credit for the development of skills and knowledge that we've developed in our men and women during service, and not just saying, hey, we have to have this paper from a school to do it.
Oh, yes, sir.
If you kind of had a magic wand, what's the one key thing that you would do or change that would really have a positive impact on our veteran community?
Man, if I had a magic wand, I guess there's probably like 20 different things I would do, but the first thing I would do is wave my wand and continue breaking down the barriers veterans face in employment, education, healthcare, and quality of life. And we'll do it with compassion and purpose. We will serve our veterans like it's personal, because for all of us, not just me, but my entire agency, it's personal. And so I would ask anyone who's a veteran or a spouse of a veteran or someone close to a veteran, particularly a caregiver of one, if you feel your vet has not getting the resources, particularly from the state of Michigan, that they need, please contact us. To start the process of getting connected to your veteran benefits, call us at 1-800-MISH-VET. I'll say it again, 1-800-MISH-VET, MICHVET. That's for all the folks in Michigan. So if you're from Ohio, you probably struggle with dialing MISH-VET. Or you can also visit our website at michigan.gov/MVAA. That's michigan.gov/MVAA.
That is great, because it is about making sure. And if anybody doesn't get that, just reach out to the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, and we'll make sure you get the contact information you need so you can reach out to Brian and his team. And it's incumbent upon all of us to do our job to make sure these veterans get connected with the services and benefits that they need. They've done so much for all of us. We need to make sure we're just doing these little steps to make sure that we can help them. So,
yes, sir. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. But unfortunately with that, we are out of time again. It always seems to go so fast with these wonderful conversations. But please tune in to our next episode and subscribe or like our podcast for easy notifications. A very special thanks to the new Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency Director, Brian Love, for taking time to talk with us today. And also, Brian, thank you for your military service, not only what you did in the service, but what you're doing for our veterans currently. We know our veterans have a wealth of talent. They can make a meaningful difference in all of our communities. So please, to all the listeners, support our veterans in whatever way you can.